Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of mine. This time I'm back with Song of the Crimson Nile, Season 2, Episode 2. I actually was speechless after the last episode. I cannot believe what Eamon has turned into, but to be quite honest, it's not like I can say that I'm completely surprised because we have always known that Eamon is a very cruel Sheshmu hunter, and I think that people are just insanely shocked to see how he tortures Dia because they didn't really expect it from him anymore after all the nice actions that he's done for Eva. The problem is that he doesn't really think that Eva is a Sheshmu. That's the difference. He's treating humans and humans that turn out to be Sheshmu different. He doesn't think that a Sheshmu is a human being with feelings nor anything. He sees a Sheshmu as a monster. He doesn't think that a Sheshmu has redeeming qualities or anything. He just punishes someone that turns out to be a Sheshmu without that Sheshmu actually having done anything that would justify a punishment. So that's a little sad, to be quite honest, that Eamon actually thinks like that. But like I said, we can't really be surprised. We have always known that Eamon is a very brutal Sheshmu hunter. But because of all these nice things that he did for us, it's like we kind of brushed that fact under the rug. But it's like his humanity comes out because he doesn't know that we're a Sheshmu. So he sees us as a human and he thinks of humans differently. He treats humans differently. As soon as he finds out that a human turns out to be a Sheshmu, his attitude toward that human being changes drastically. We saw the nice side of Eamon because he doesn't know we're a Sheshmu. He would have treated us differently if he would have known that we're a Sheshmu. And that side, that terrifying side of Eamon, was a side of him that we try to ignore. We know that he's like this. Last episode was just a reminder. We, as Eva, as his lover now, because I literally rejected Livius and I was like, yes, all in for Eamon. Last episode was just a wake-up call for every single fan of the Song of the Crimson Nile. That hunting Sheshmu and his hate for Sheshmu is a thing. People love to ignore that fact. But Eamon is a Sheshmu hunter. He hates Sheshmu. And it's not like this is something new. We just never saw that evil side of him because he doesn't know we're a Sheshmu. But that hunting part is still part of who he is. And last episode, it was just a wake-up call for all the fans. So let's just see how this is gonna turn out, because apparently, after how the episode was written, I think that Dia might be capable to make an escape. She paid off her debt, but to whom? Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Warning, this episode contains description of death, cruelty, and torture. Yeah, Dia. Episode 2, God Slayer. Oh god, okay. Oh, we're still in the torture chamber, y'all. You all know. You all know. It's the sensitive description. When Dia opened her eyes, the hunters were gone. Soaked in her own blood and sweat, she was still tied to the chair. Poor Dia, y'all. Eamon had tortured her for a long time until she had lost consciousness. Didn't I say that? I did talk about the tolerance to pain. As soon as the tolerance to pain has been overstepped, you pass out. When she briefly came back to her senses, there was another hunter in the room. She didn't remember much of what happened after that. They must have thought she wasn't going to regain consciousness anytime soon and left. Her body was hurting in so many different ways that she couldn't focus on anything in particular. She felt so dreadful that the idea of death seemed like a blessing. Yeah. But she knew they wouldn't let her die until morning, until the Supreme Epistate personally took her life. No, until the blade took her life. The thought didn't scare her. She was looking forward to it. I mean, let's be real. If you keep on being tortured that brutally, you are happy as soon as pain comes to an end. Like, in general, no one wants to die, but if this is how your life turns into, like a nightmare of pain, torture, the only thing you want is to die. For someone who had been tortured for hours, Dia felt surprisingly lucid. They would have probably hurt her more if she hadn't lost consciousness halfway through. She began to replay in her head everything she'd heard. If she were fully in her right mind, she would have been scared out of her wits. It turned out that Aemon had stopped in Hermopolis to get to Remao, and through him, to the eldest. He had been keeping an eye on them for the very beginning, but Dia couldn't understand why he could sense everyone's nature as Sheshmu, but not Eva's, because he's in love. He's in love. He's in love, so he doesn't really want to see that she's a Sheshmu. We literally got a glimpse of what hunters think of Sheshmu. They think that they are monsters and they are not humans. They just think that as soon as someone is a Sheshmu, they are just pretending that they're nice. They think Sheshmu don't have any emotions. They think that they use humans to their advantage just to make easy money or whatever. They don't have any humanity inside of them. They're just brutal killers, and they don't care who they have to hurt in order to get what they want. So Aemon is like, the situation justifies the means. As in, drastic times go with drastic measures. He's like, if you think that you can hurt humans like this without any care in the world, I can do the same thing. Maybe that's why he's like, I don't care. But just because someone is a Sheshmu does not mean that they deserve any of this. Like, just to put it out there, I didn't know what to make out of that side of Aemon. I loved Akira's answer on the last episode. She was like, thank you for being one of the few people that notices it. I do notice. I see situations and I think part of it. Normally I already put it into the episode of what I think, but sometimes I also think about the episode after I stop recording. Like, this is a story, and I started to like Livius because of that teasing and flirting nature that Eva and him got. And I liked Aemon and Eva because of their funny dynamic. They both are always fighting for control. They're fighting to which one has more control over the other. And that's what pulls them in even closer, because both of them have like this split personality. They have like this arrogance. They both are insanely proud, stubborn, short-sighted, impulsive. They don't want to give in. But on the other side, they are kind. They are selfless. They are caring. They are warm. They want to protect people around them. That's what pulls them in, because Aemon sees like her arrogance, etc. And that's when he's like, yeah, I'm the epistates here. Who do you think you are coming at me like that? Like, learn your place. But then he sees that vulnerable side of her, and that pulls him in, because he's like, I can see that you are nice. I can see that this arrogance, that selfishness that you portray is not who you truly are. So why do you think that you have to keep up this facade? I can see that you are a different person than what you are trying to make me believe. So tell me, as in he's intrigued. And that's the same thing for her. She doesn't want to see that evil side of him that could kill her with a snap of her finger. And she sees that she keeps on being pulled towards Aemon more and more as the time goes by. So she keeps on trying to let that information sink in, that he's still a Sheshmu hunter, because that is a serious problem. People just kept on saying, yeah, don't be dramatic, you see that she's not gonna do that to you. And last episode was a wake-up call. Yeah, he's willing to hurt Sheshmu like this without any mercy. So, like, people, see that. This is who Aemon is. Like, this nice facade that he's showing to Eva is not all there is to him. The Huntress had repeated more than once that the epistates could do things no one else could. If only Dia knew what exactly that meant. Dia was able to remember the Hunter's conversation. On the other hand, there was nothing she could do with that information. She knew Aemon had captured her as a warning to the other Sheshmu, to rattle them. If that didn't work, he could capture another one, and so on. He saw right through them. Remao was not going to remain calm if his younger brother got caught. Oh, really? After all the bullshit he's pulling? And to be quite honest, I understand why Aemon would hate someone like Remao. Because if that's true, then he actually cut off his oldest friend's tongue and fingers to keep him from talking, to cut all loose ends. Sorry for saying it like this, because from the way the story was written, Remao was supposed to be like a father figure because he took Eva in. But the way he's behaving, I would understand why Eamon would be acting this way to Remao. Like, it feels, the way I'm saying it, it feels like I'm okay for torture. I am not. But I think it's worse to torture someone that doesn't deserve it than to torture someone that actually deserves it. Like, if you are someone that tortures people for fun, then I think it's deserved that you yourself get tortured for fun, okay? Like, same goes with same. And Ramesses' turn was going to be soon. Yeah, Dia wished she could warn them, at least one of them, because the episodes wasn't going to waste any time. Dia decided to make an attempt. She could try to contact them, but only someone insane would ever think of doing such a thing. Luckily, someone insane once had told her about a way. Eva can dream. The hunters were talking about it, and I heard her muttering in her sleep. I'll try to get into her dream. I don't need to be close to her to do that. I studied her ka, and I know her character well. But I don't have a mask, so I don't know if it will be possible to get into her dream without it. Salmon wouldn't lie to me about something like this, would he? Dia endured the torture and kept her sanity after taking Iboga. She'll be able to warn you. Let's go, y'all! Let's go! Dia tried to remember what to do. She tried to stay still so that the hunters wouldn't realize that she was conscious again. Oh, the hunters are in her room! Those bitches! Honestly, I would just pretend to be sleeping the entire time. Like, try to torture me when you think I'm asleep. Every movement caused her terrible pain. Her mind was still lucid, but her body no longer responded to her. She was dying. After all the methods that these bitches pulled, I would feel like I'm dying too. Dia's plan was to pretend to be unconscious until the moment of her execution. That, because she couldn't bear the idea of another round of torture. She knew death was the only future awaiting her. She had nothing to lose. Is it even possible to get into someone else's dream from the distance? In theory, I don't even need a mask because it traps the cause warmth, but the souls of dark magicians are cold. That's why we don't dream. Oh, wow. Okay. As soon as we begin to study dark magic, our souls change and our dreams disappear. One romancy, okay. She was planning to get into a dark magician's dream while sitting in a torture chamber without her mask or any will to live. Damn. That idea was doomed from the beginning. I'm going to try anyway. I only have a few more hours to live. Dia is the queen. Sorry for saying it, y'all. She's like, I know I'm gonna die, but I care about her. I need to warn her. Now that's a real one. She knows we tried to help her. She knows we tried to warn her, protect her, and she's gonna do the same. We love her. Dia lowered her head. She could have thought about herself, about her life. But what was the point? She decided to try to do one last thing and help her friends before leaving the world of the living. I love Dia, y'all. She had such a bright future ahead of her. Her family was rich. She had received an education. She could have had it all. And how did it all turn out? One unrequited love after another. The death of the man she loved most, tortured for her dark magic practice, and the public execution. If a dream is not a place, but a state of a ka, its warmth is only a conduit to get in touch with the soul. Will Eva be sleeping right now? If she is she dreaming about something? Maybe she's dreaming about Eastman. Hope stirred in her chest. How is she dealing with the loss? Eva's very sensitive. She wants to appear independent and confident, but an unromantic cannot be deceived. Dia closed her eyes. It was painful for her to even breathe, so concentrating was out of the question. Had she been rendered completely useless? Nah. Was she going to die like an animal in a cage forgotten by everyone? No. She's a queen. Dia began losing consciousness. When her mother heard her words, her haggard face twisted in anger. Oh no, or Mom, what did you just say? He makes bread for us, and you dare make such stories. I didn't make up anything. You want to slander him? Her mother kicked the table, her hysterical voice filling the whole house. Eva knew she wouldn't believe her. You want to slander him? A few clay pots and cups fell onto the floor and shattered. She was a abused, yo. She was completely abused. Not only psychologically, but also physically. That mother. Eva stood in the doorway. Her heart sank at the sight of her mother. She didn't love her child. She hated her. The woman climbed onto the bed that was huddled in a corner. When will he take you away? When will this debt be paid? She clutched at her hair as everything around her started to burn. Wow. Mom? Mom! Eva wanted to run up to her and grab her, shake her off from her daze so that she would realize what she was doing. But the fire prevented her from getting closer, and the woman did not react to her daughter's screams. Oh God. Only when she heard her name, she raised her head. Her face was frozen in a hateful grimace. Oh God. Oh my God. Meanwhile, she didn't see, hear, or understand anything. She didn't even know where she was. Dia thought she had just fallen asleep in her cell. When she opened her eyes, she finally saw a pinprick of light in the endless darkness and walked toward it. The closer the light became, the more clearly she could hear some voices and fragments of conversations. I didn't make up. You slan him. Where am I? In that place, Dia didn't feel any pain, so she was able to collect her thoughts. It was not a light that she could see, but the flames of a fire. Is this Eva's dream? There's something wrong with it. Dreams don't look like this usually. But it doesn't matter. The main thing is to reach her. When that paid. When Dia reached the source of the light, blurred and fragile, she saw a little girl. Mom? Mom? Is that Eva? Is she dreaming about her childhood? The little girl stepped back, about to run away from the fire. Dia wasn't going to have enough time to come up with something. She could sense that the dream was about to end. As a neuromancer, she was taught that if a dreaming person felt a sudden surge of emotion, they might wake up. Without a mask, my connection is very weak, so I can't see anything. But will I be able to talk to her, or won't she even hear me? Shout, bitch! Shout! Without thinking about anything, Dia began to scream. Eva! Eva! After a few moments, the child flinched, but Dia's pain was getting worse and worse. She was about to wake up. Oh, shit. Eva looked at the flames, at her indifferent and weak mother, and then at the house, which was burning brighter with every second. Oh, God. A voice in the flames? Eva could see someone's silhouette within the bright fire. If that hadn't been a dream, she would have cried out in fear. Instead, she looked closely, listening. She remained on the tree's hold so that she could run away at any moment. Be careful, the apostate knows everything. Huh? Oh God, I feel so bad because I know what she's saying, but... Be careful, the apostate knows. Huh? Eva listened even harder. The words she heard didn't fit into her childhood memory. It greatly bothered her caw, which meant that she was going to wake soon. The apostate knows? Knows what? Young Eva didn't even understand the meaning of the message, but she remembered every word. Shit, now you know for sure that the apostate is on a secret hunt. Maybe I could listen more. No, I can't, because I don't have it. I'm a necromancer. It's difficult to understand. Eva tried to listen, but she couldn't. The fire was getting closer. Any closer. The fire was getting closer and closer, and she could no longer hear that voice, so she decided to run away. Now that sucks. That surge of anxiety pushed Eva out of her dream. She opened her eyes and found them full of tears. She jumped out of bed, not knowing how to deal with her emotions. Her heart was pounding, and her temples were throbbing with tension. She remembered very clearly all that she'd seen and heard. She didn't know how to explain it. Had she imagined whose voice that was? Suddenly she saw a shadow moving across Dia's bed. Eva flinched and turned around. Who are you? Ash. You are the last person I need to see right now, sir. The last person I need to see. This is the first time I've seen a dark magician suffering from bad dreams. Ash, who seemed to have appeared out of thin air, was sprawled on the other bed, his hands behind his head. Orion was peacefully dozing at his feet. Traitor! Huh? Path of honesty. Eva felt furious, but she couldn't give him a piece of her mind because she was afraid of Ash and of his eyes glowing threateningly in the dark. But she decided to speak to him. So, climbing into other people's houses at night is your specialty?
As much as it is yours.
Ha. With a reluctant expression on his face, he left the soft bed and got to his feet. What you want? He walked slowly toward Eva. He was almost a head taller than her. He stared into her eyes so intensely that it was almost as if he could see through her.
Tell me, what were you doing in the Ibu? Who was your client? What did they want from you?
Is this what you want to know?
Yes, or else I wouldn't be asking.
And who are you to ask me? Is this the best time to discuss this? Why are we talking in my house at night? Eva suddenly realized that she was standing in front of him while she was only half dressed. She tried not to let it show on her face, but she felt as if burning in shame. Ash leaned forward. He didn't look happy. He raised an eyebrow and repeated,
Do you know what annoys me the most?
Yourself? Eva was about to step back, but Ash, threateningly narrowing his eyes, was enough to make her freeze again.
Ah, this little bitch. Repeating myself.
Alright, have it your way. She turned her attention to Dia's bed, where Ash had been lying only a moment before. I heard her voice in my dream. I guess my soul is trying to reach out. But if she were part of my dream, wouldn't I see her? It was like she was trying to contact me to say something about the Supreme Epistates and the hunt. I wonder how she is right now.
Are you biding your time, little Shishmu?
A worker died not long ago in Set Mat. It was on the day I first met you. He saw that the tomb of a respected man had been opened by someone. He tried to run away, but he wasn't quick enough. His sister commissioned us to find out who killed him. He was attacked and his body was dragged to the shore in hope that the wild animals would destroy all evidence.
Is that all?
Did my answer not please you?
Eva.
That's all. What else did you want me to... Honestly, did my answer not please you enough? You want more detail? Did you want me to include more colorful details?
I wouldn't have minded it.
Y'all... I don't know if you guys can realize that, but right now I'm not pleased with any character besides Livius and Dia. And Ramesses, because Ramesses is a cutie. Right now I'm not being pleased with anyone. Why don't we just put Ash, Eamon, Remao, and Titian, while we're at it, into a bag and we just kick into that sack? Maybe the frustration I feel right now would be coming out. I have the feeling this update is gonna break me. Like, I'm gonna come out being completely overwhelmed, not knowing what to do with the information I received. He tilted his head to the side and asked her point blank,
Where are you practicing this craft?
Dark magic.
Yes.
For the same reasons as everyone else, I suppose. I had no choice. And what about your craft? Ash smiled. He had managed to get her invested in the conversation, although frankly speaking, he'd already gotten his answer. Or maybe not quite. He walked across the room looking at the decor and at Eva's belongings.
My craft is whatever I want it to be. A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I'll make sure to answer your next question in the same manner. Me.
Oh, Shishmu, are you non-romancer or necromancer?
I prefer to work with dreams that dead. Bitch, after the shit you pulled, I'm not gonna go with dreams ever again.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a one-neuromancer with Livius, and I'm gonna be a necromancer with Eamon. I think I already said I'm gonna choose necromancer for this route. So just for everyone to know, the dead. I prefer to work with the dead. They lie there quietly and I don't have to worry about their feelings. I just have to keep mine under control and everything will go well. It's convenient. Ash grinned slyly.
If keeping your feelings at bay is so easy, why haven't you sorted them out yet?
And why do I have to explain myself to you?
What are you looking for now? Commissions? Or are you just having fun playing cat and mouse with the epistates?
Who are you to ask me that? Literally, though. Like, exchanging information with my best friend and etc. No problem with that. But a stranger, we don't know him. We literally don't know anything about him. He's not opening up, but he keeps on asking questions. And as soon as he got his questions, he leaves. No, bitch, who are you to ask me anything right now? The corners of Eva's lips twisted in a frown. She glared at him and replied, her tone clearly irritated. My friend, who was like a brother to me, was killed. I want to get to his body and find out who I should blame for it. I don't believe he drowned himself in the Nile.
Drowned himself?
Ash looked surprised. He raised his eyebrows and then laughed strangely.
Did I mix up my drowned man?
Ha. Mix up? Excuse me? He was the one that killed him?
It was your friend who gave us trouble. I cannot believe I went to look at the wrong body.
Us? Who's us? Are you looking for Eastman too? Then maybe... Ash closed the space between them in an instant and raised his hand, calling for silence.
Ash, don't get so agitated.
I need to see him before his body's taken away.
I know. And I don't want to listen to it again. But I can help you, little Shishmu, and you will help me to thank me for saving you.
Ha. Thank you for saving me.
As if you owe me. Aren't you going to show your gratitude by doing me a favor in return?
I didn't ask you to help me. Battle of honesty. Did we ever agree that I would owe you? Since there is no contract between us, I gave none of the gratitude you're asking for.
Well, if you think you don't need saving, I can drag you straight to the torture chamber. Let's pretend that I wasn't there and you were caught.
Ha. You offered to help me only so that I could fulfill your wishes in return? I don't owe you anything. You saved me, but I didn't ask for it. Besides, if it hadn't been for you, we would have heard the hunters coming and we would have managed to escape.
I were destined to get caught that day. I'm the one who snatched you from under their noses.
Huh? Eva wanted to object, but then she thought, what if he was right? It was a remarkable coincidence that Eva and the episode squad had bumped into each other. Maybe she should have died that night. She turned away, hiding her bitter expression of defeat in the darkness. Who else would have come to bother her with their wishes? What kind of intimidations were going to drag her further and further away from her real objective? So what do you want in return? Ash threw up his hands.
Finally, the words I wanted to hear. I only need you to do me a very small favor. Get into the episode stream and tell me what you will see in there.
What? Eva froze. What did he just say? He actually wants us to expose ourselves completely. When she snapped out of her shock, she gasped. A very small favor! That normally, and that's something, normally, people do not see you in dreams, okay? Normally, when you do one romance task, humans don't see you. You're just like an ensemble. You're in the background and you slowly fade away. But Livius, who doesn't have the episode's title, was capable to find out that he saw us in a dream that wasn't even his. Us going into the episode's dream would completely be like suicide. A very small favor. Why don't you go and do that yourself since you're so clever? Surely you'll be able to outsmart the episodes again. Because I won't. Ash frowned. He was getting exasperated. I'm getting exasperated for you.
You don't have a choice, Eva. I will bend you to my will anyway.
Excuse you. Are you threatening me? Eva was starting to get really scared. She stepped back, but Ash didn't follow her, looking at her with an expression of genuine surprise on his face.
Why would I? You're already mine.
Excuse you? Excuse you? Y'all, I'm pretty sure you know who you are. I think I forgot your name. There was someone that wrote that she was completely shocked to see Ash being that shameless towards us. I think it was Akiro again. I'm not sure though. 100% I'm all in for you, girl. You are so right about this bitch. This guy is disgusting. He actually is disgusting. He literally just comes in here and claims ownership of someone, and he's like, you're doing what I think you should, and I don't care about what you say. Bitch, who you think you are?
Don't forget your name.
Bitch. Eva began to retreat, but Ash started advancing on her until he had her cornered.
No. Evatis. Meren said, or is it Nefertis? You know what your name means, right? He grabbed Eva's hands and laughed right in her face. Oh no! We had a deal with him? We had a deal with him? What did we actually do to have a debt with this man? You're mine, you've paid her debt. Her? You know who gave you your name? My father? Oh, you don't know that either. Ash looked at her condescendingly. Hovering above her and scaring her into feeling confused and nervous was very entertaining to him. Let me kick you in the nuts, sir. Like, this is the worst thing you could do to someone. Knowing that they're actually traumatized by their past, and you see it and you're actually laughing at that. But he didn't want to overdo it, as he was pursuing an entirely different plan. And then it dawned on her. Nefertis. According to what she was told, her mother wanted to give her that name, but her father objected and suggested the one with the opposite meaning. Not Set's wife, bringer of death and destruction, but giver of life, Evitus. Our mother wanted to give us the name bringer of death and destruction because we're a necromancer, y'all. Everyone knew her first name. It didn't matter if she changed it or not, but her mother never called her that. After her father's death, she stubbornly only called her daughter Nemesis. Wow! Later, Eva had run away and completely forgot about the name her mother had chosen, but her other secret name always haunted her. Maren said, the one beloved by the gods said, oh, you're mine. Did that mean your name? Come on, Eva. What's my name? No! No! This little bitch! He be playing us, y'all. He be playing us. Technically, we had paid off our debt before we ran away from home. Ash, seeing us, he knew who we were, and he was like, you know what? Now I feel her energy. She has turned into a necromancer or a non-romancer. She started to practice her skills. She started to work on her skills. He used that night as an opportunity to get her in debt with him again. That means maybe our mother back then asked him for a favor and she used us as bargaining. Maybe she wanted to know why her father died and she asked him to help her. And in exchange, he wanted maybe or help in the future when we're capable to actually perform something, you know? Oh no! No! He walked slowly behind her. He seemed to be feeding on the fear and anxiety that filled her entire body. Eva was in his power. Y'all, I know this is horrible. I have the feeling I picked the romantic option, y'all, but I can't at this point. I'm just picking the choices that are golden. I need to be careful. She didn't even dare to move after realizing who was standing next to her. The patron of all dark forces, the god of rage and war, the lord of the burning red lands. Set. Good girl. She held her breath as Set's heavy hand took her wrist. He was gentle at first. She could barely feel his touch. Then she started feeling the warmth emanating from his body and his quiet breathing behind her back. Y'all, at this point, I need to stop. At this point, I don't know who's more dangerous. Who is more dangerous in your eyes? Please tell me in the comments below. I need to know. Who is more dangerous? Set or Aemon? Like, Set is so powerful that he could actually make you fear for your life. Y'all, this man is so powerful. He has that power. I did say that I had the feeling that this man is capable to control minds, like in the Vampire Diaries. Maybe he is literally one of the most powerful elders, you know? Maybe he's like one of the most powerful elders there is, or even the most powerful elder from the Sheshmus. And so he has the power to maybe control other Sheshmus. Maybe he was the first Sheshmu, I don't know, just to put in this head what I feel right now. So this man is dangerous on a whole nother level. He's capable to make us indebted to him, no matter what he does. He is that strategic that makes him so dangerous, y'all. He can say what he wants, and if you don't want to do what this man wants from you. He can actually force you, as in he has that power over you. Like I said, maybe this is like the Vampire Diaries. We are taking this as the Vampire Diaries. Only the originals were capable to manipulate other vampires. And normal vampires weren't capable to manipulate the originals. Maybe he's like an original in this story. And Eva is like just a vampire, like so that you get the picture. So he can manipulate her and make her bend to his will. Like he said, she couldn't believe it. Who was she compared to him? How? What? She wanted to move away and turn around and ask him a million questions. What did he want from her? Why did he come? What was he looking for in the Supreme Epistate's dream? But said wouldn't let her. And Eva tried to pull away. He took her hand and yanked her toward him. Oh, God. I do not regret for taking the option, but y'all, no. Y'all, I'm so scared. Y'all, I don't even know what to say right now. To be quite honest, I'm gonna put another voting tile. After Aemon's route, or maybe even right now, it was the choice between Aemon and Livius, and now Aemon or Ash. Because to be quite honest, I don't know which one of these is more dangerous. But this picture, y'all, this picture is... I don't know which one of them is more dangerous, y'all, but this picture is hot. This is a good picture. Not like that picture in the Heaven's Secret 2 with Plague being... with Plague having her head chopped off. This is a hot picture. Jesus. Her back was pressed against his wide-strung chest. His fingers wrapped around her neck, squeezing it gently, almost tenderly, as if demonstrating his power. He seemed to hint at the fact that if she dared move, he might tighten his grip. Hush, give of life. Are you going somewhere? Eva remained silent. She was scared. Me too, sis. Me too. Y'all, like I can be as confident as I want. In situations like these, with men like these, like there is a difference between being dominant in like a seductive manner where it's actually a turn on for me, and actually being power crazed and evil. Like there's like a difference, okay? Where Aemon was in our room and we felt like this kind of connection towards each other, and that pulled us closer and closer. That was a turn on in my eyes, okay? But after the picture left and he said, I'm gonna find a way to see you crack and then I'm gonna destroy you or something like that, that was the turn off. Because that is not a teasing and flirting anymore. That's a dangerous situation that you're tackling then. This scares me, y'all. Eva remained silent. She was scared. You forced my hand. I don't want to tell you my name. I thought we'd managed without threats. But you can be so stubborn. Jesus Christ. So she still needs to pay off that debt. Her mother made a debt and she had to pay for it. Eva was the bargain here. The mother got out of the situation nicely. But Eva got stuck with the debt. Nice. That's why she also ran away, maybe. She said she ran away from home. Maybe she ran away because she was hoping that she could escape from Set. But Set found her back then. Oh, y'all, I'm so scared. I'm so scared for her now. Technically, she's a prisoner. Set's hand moved a little higher to her face. His fingers felt hot, like his whole essence, which was made of fire and death, passion and rage. He almost pressed his lips to her temple and whispered, But I'm glad that things turn out this way. It will be difficult for us to find a common language at first, but it will definitely be worth it. He gave a low laugh, listening to the rapid beating of Eva's heart. She squirmed, wanting to pull away, but he was not in a hurry to loosen his grip. What do you want me to do? Her faint whisper echoed in the room. That picture was hot, y'all, but the situation scares me. As your patron said, will always have a certain power over you. Shit. Just be beaten if you want to get to see a friend. He let her go so that Eva could turn around. He then said, his voice cold, Get into the Supreme Epistate's dream and tell me everything you see. If you are who you say you are, don't you have the power to step into other people's dreams? It would be easier for you to avoid death than it would be for me. Gods are not omnipotent. People are the ones who think they are. He'll sense me as soon as I get close, but he won't sense you. Well, what are you looking for? It's not what, it's who. The dog sat straight, watching them. Orion was usually very protective and wouldn't let anyone near Eva. What a smart animal. He knows who's standing in front of him. Is this dog your companion? That's a good deed. We should always protect animals. They're better than people. Seth walked to the window, ending the conversation. Eva called after him. When do I have to do it? How much time do I have? What if I die before I can do it? The man kept walking as he replied. You won't. I can come whenever I want. And you have to be ready. He didn't say anything else, disappearing into the darkness. Well, shit. Oh, God, no. I feel so bad for her, like she's being oppressed right now. This was a threat. Eva sank to the floor helplessly to get into the Supreme Epistate's dream. Death would almost surely be waiting for her after that. But if she refused Seth, there was going to be no almost. Everyone knew the story of how he murdered and mutilated his own brother, Osiris, and tore out Horus' eye. But why such a powerful being had left everything behind to spend his life wandering around the world? Regardless, he was a god slayer, and he was not going to tolerate a no for an answer. Seth assured her that she was going to survive until their next meeting. He wouldn't let Eva die before she had a chance to pay her debt. She didn't know why her mother owed him. Yes, the mother did the debt for her. Because the mother technically was useless. We were the ones with the power. In this particular moment, the mother wanted something from him. And he was like, fine, okay, but the daughter is the bargain. Your daughter is gonna repay it to me because you can't do it. She didn't know why her mother owed him or how he'd helped her, but she'd heard countless times from Hathroth that she was just a way to repay a debt, and that's why she was named Marin said, yep. Had Eva been sacrificed to Seth? Like I said, she was a bargain. It didn't matter anymore. Eva owed him, in addition to the fact that she belonged to him. In every sense, since Seth was also the patron of dark magicians, once named Ash in the distant past. He didn't truly try to hide his identity. She smiled sadly. It was ironic how things had turned out. Even if Eva gave up dark magic, there was no chance of her having any future with Aemon. Being a Sheshma was nothing compared to the fact that she had to become Seth's servant, the god that the hunters were created to fight. Oh no! Y'all, I did so much fucked up with this. So, if we would have been a one romancer, it would have been better for us technically, because Seth is actually the god of dark magicians. Shit! She woke up early the following morning and went to take a bath. Then she dressed quickly. She needed to find Remo and talk to him. To be fed with it all, they needed to get out of here as quickly as they possibly could. Were there really no cities in all Egypt where they could both fulfill commissions and hide from the hunters? As soon as she had completed Seth's task and seen Eastman's body, she was going to flee immediately. But how was she going to fulfill the god's wish in the first place? You know what? Golden Mirage. I love it. Stunning. Eva left her house and went looking for Ramesses first. He lived in one of the hunters' houses, and although that was the last place she wanted to be, she didn't have a choice, as usual. A few minutes later, Eva stood outside the hunter's house. She was still meaning to approach her mentor, but she had something to discuss with Ramesses first. She decided not to tell him about Seth's night visit. It was too early for that. Titin was the one who answered her knock on the door. Eva? There were dark shadows under the hunter's eyes. Eva looked down and noticed some dried blood under his fingernails. Did he torture Dia? Yes. And if he didn't personally torture Dia, he was around when it happened. Just in time. You're coming to the execution with us. What? No, The execution? It wasn't a question. Everyone is going to Tibet to watch the public execution of the Sheshmu. I'm sure you'll find it interesting. Are they going to execute Dia? You're crying over a dark magician again. Eva thought back to her strange dream and Dia's distant voice. What if it wasn't a figment of her imagination? If everyone is going, then I will come too. I feel sorry for her as a friend, not as a shishmu. For some reason, Titian was staring at her more intensely than usual. He chuckled without much remorse. You're coming then? It's not like you actually gave me a choice, sweetheart. He then left the house, but having taken a few steps, he suddenly turned around. By the way, Eva. Huh? How's your friend? She's interesting. Nah, interesting for you. He didn't wait for an answer, but turned around and left. Eva chuckled. She's not my friend, but in any case, hers deserves someone better. Someone who doesn't torture people. That. Titian is interested in hers. Who knows what this will lead to? Eva took advantage of the open door and poked her head inside. She looked around for Ramesses. Ramesses saw her and immediately perked up. The hunters smiled upon seeing her. Some of them had been following Eva with their eyes more than once and always noticed her among the other women of the settlement. Well, what can I say? I know how to make an entrance. Renowned, period, but they didn't even think to approach her. They'd seen the Supreme Ephesates casting occasional glances at her, period. You better know that I'm off the market. There was no point in competing for female attention with a man like him, and it wasn't worth it. It would have been wise not to anger him. Ramesses came out quickly, closing the door behind him. Y'all, I think I need to pause right here just to let y'all know. From one side, I think it's great to actually have the attention of men to a certain degree. Like, it makes you as a woman feel more special in a certain sense. It gives you the feeling that you do stand out, as in it gives you some kind of confidence that you are being noticed, not that you're invisible to other people. But it shouldn't turn into something completely obsessive, okay? I think it's a horrible thing that it's being turned into a happy thing, that people are scared to look at Eva because they know that the Ephesates has eyes for her. As long as someone is not yours, you have no right to tell someone else that they can't look at them, you know? It's like they all know that if they do something that the Ephesates won't like, they're gonna be the next ones to be tortured. What the hell? Ramesses came out quickly, closing the door behind him. Eva. Oh! He was... What? Who hit him? Who hit my child? I demand answers and I'm gonna kill everyone. Eva, we never talked. Not here. She took him aside behind some trees. He didn't look good, but she didn't say anything so as not to get distracted. Ramesses continued. I never went to bed last night. I saw the hunters gather in a group and dragged Ia out of your house. They're going to execute her. The priest of the house of Anubis had his tongue and fingers cut off. Was that Remau's doing? And Dia's arrest? Did he report her to the hunters to drive away suspicions? He hesitated and didn't answer right away. But the worst part was that Ramesses didn't look surprised hearing those words. Shishmu have to cover their tracks. It was actually Remau, y'all. Cover their tracks? That's what you call this? What did you expect, Eva? Beautiful flowers, happy songs, and strong friendship. The priest could have reported us and Dia attracted too much attention. My brother found out about the Ephesates' threats and that I cracked. And he showed me that keeping secrets from him was a bad idea. He's the one that beat him up? Oh, Remau needs to die. Remau needs to die. Can we report Remau? I feel like they are not personally taking Remau first because they want to know where the other elders are, but they know who this man is. But because they want Remau to bring them to the other elders, they're not touching him. They're just taking out the younger Shishmu. But if Remau should get reported, the Ephesates can't do anything but to take him under his wing in a certain sense, as in to take him in the torture chamber and to technically torture the truth out of him from there, you know? Like, it's not like they can just let suspicions like that pass by. If Remau actually reported Dia, which Ramesses actually just confirmed, then that's what made them drag Dia out in the middle of the night. If someone would report Remau, then they can't just ignore it. They actually need to do something then. He looked up at her, and Eva suddenly noticed his bruises. It was necessary to give someone to the hunters so that they would calm down a little and quench their thirst. I cannot accept that. Eva shook her head in frustration. Like, if one dies, we all die. You can't just... No, this is like a horrible thing. I wouldn't want to be part of this, y'all. Like, my friend is my friend. Just because my friend did a mistake, it does not mean that she has to pay her life for it. And you have no idea what they are doing in that torture chamber to her. It's not you that has to endure all of those punishments. She's the one that needed to take the fall for everyone. Just because she needed help. And instead of providing Dia with the help that she desperately needed, they just gave her to the hunters to quench the thirst or whatever. No, Remao should have been the one in that torture chamber. Instead of reporting her to the hunters after waiting for so long for her to finally come back to her senses, he should have helped her back then when we actually said that she was doing something that she shouldn't be doing. That's when Remao should have done something. But no, he waited until it was too late, until it was completely obvious that this woman was under the influence of Iboga, which can only lead to dark magic practices. And he actually reported her to get the suspicion off of them. I hate Remao, y'all. No, I could never do that. Then you'll die sooner than others. You and Ramesses don't see eye to eye. This affects your friendship. Well, then it will affect our friendship. I can do that. No, I can't just give up my friends. Like, y'all, imagine that you give up all of your friends just in order to survive. Who will you have left in the world? No one. On the other side, no one will ever want to be friends with you. Because they will know immediately if they actually find out your secret, you won't bother twice to actually report them and have them strangled or tortured. You have to make compromises if you want to keep your secret. So you do the same to me if given the opportunity? So shut it, Ramesses. There are things that you cannot do. No, I won't, but... But? Ramesses was clearly struggling with himself. He looked around considering something. I swear you don't deserve this. There. He stepped closer to her and whispered urgently. If something happens, you're next, Eva. What? Me? My brother said you're causing problems just like Dia. When the time comes, he'll have to act somehow. Me. Ramesses lowered his gaze, but then pulled himself together quickly. You should be very careful, alright? Rama's watching you. Looking for something to blame on you. For later. Wow. Thank you for warning me. I know you weren't supposed to. Ramesses decided to warn you because you have a good relationship. Great. I'm surrounded on 3 sides. That's how you should know. All I want is to learn the truth about Eastman's death and then run away. We'll have to attend the execution first. I don't know if I can bear to watch. If your brother can, so can you, right? Eva. He mutilates people and he framed his own student. Do you still look up to him? I do love that she's bringing it out like this. Like, do you even see what your brother is doing? Do you see who your brother has turned into? How can you actually look up to him after everything he has done? I do understand on a specific extent what Ramesses is saying. He's like, sometimes you need to make sacrifices. But now, my point would come, on what cost? To die alone? To wander the earth alone forever? Like, on what cost? Are you willing to betray everyone? On what cost are you willing to lose everyone? How can you look someone in the eye that loved you, that protected you from harm's way, that was willing to die for you, but actually being reported by the person that you wanted to protect? That's something else. What in the world are you saying? Don't you feel sorry for Dia? Of course I do, but it wasn't about whether to ruin a life or not. It was about whose life should be ruined in order to save the rest of us. But who was saved because of this bullshit? Who was saved? Remao literally got rid of one of his students, which was Dia. Now, he's looking for a way to blame us, to get rid of us. And then, he will even get rid of you, sir. He actually, Remao, now that I think about it, Remao reminds me of Gerard from Teen Wolf. If you know, you know. In season 2, the finale, he was like, if it comes to survival, I will kill my own son. And this is exactly the vibe that Remao is giving off. First, he got rid of Dia. Now he's looking for a way to get rid of us. And then he's gonna find a way to get rid of Ramesses just in order to stay alive. No. But now he's after me. Don't you understand? Dia's just the beginning. And if I'm next, then you can be sure your head will be the third one to roll. Me. You tell him. I'm sure that if given the chance, Remao will choose himself over his brotherly love. Y'all, just like what I just said. Oh, the famous inside of romances. And the famous stupidity of necromancers. Ramesses? What's going on? Yes, I thought we had each other's backs. Or not anymore. Of course we do. Then what's the matter? Don't you care that he's planning to get rid of me? Invisible God, Eva, I do care. Ramesses looked surprised and even slightly outraged. You know, I'm not very good at expressing my emotions, and my brother is an experienced dark magician. It's not so easy to deal with him, but I can't hurt him. He's my brother and I love him, however wicked he may be. And that's your problem. The only thing that ties Remao to Ramesses is the love that Ramesses has for Remao. That's it. Remao doesn't feel love for Ramesses though, and that's the problem. Ramesses loves, Ramesses cares. And that's why he actually feels bad. He couldn't actually sacrifice someone in order to save himself. It's easier said than done in this particular situation. Remao, on the other hand, he does not care. In order to survive, he's gonna kill and sacrifice everyone he can. And Ramesses is actually trying to neglect that fact. He's trying to ignore that this could be an option. Because he's like, yeah, I love him, so he surely loves me. I don't think that he will plan to get rid of me too. Like, yes, he will. He actually comes off as that person. Eva jerked her head up. What did he mean by that? There's no point in fighting him. He's very powerful and has connections everywhere. That's what I meant. Oh, well, if he has connections, then let him kill Dia, me, and you, right? Me. No, I had another plan in mind. As soon as I found out that he's planning something specific, I'll let you know. You'll pack your things and run away. This is the only way out. You'd better get ready. I guess you're right. The main thing is that you're still on my side. I'm on my own side, but I will help you as much as I possibly can. I'll take it. Ramesses will help you in the future as a friend. Like, he actually seems to be the only person that is willing to do whatever it takes for the people he loves. Almost the entire settlement traveled to Thebes to watch the execution. They're disgusting. This is disgusting me. The main street wasn't very busy yet, but it was only a matter of time until it got crowded. As soon as the hunters had started preparing the place of execution, the news of the capture of another Sheshmu had spread through the city. However, Thebes was certainly not a place where this sort of thing was widely supported. Some people were happy looking forward to the show, but many others went back to discussing how ridiculous that whole hunt was. Me! Livius knew that Eva was going to be there. He delegated his tasks to his apprentices, who studied at the temple of Amun-Ra, and hurried to the center of Thebes. It was quite easy to spot her among the people. Everyone was crowding around the place of execution, but Eva was sitting at a distance in the shade of some palm trees. She was there alone, silent, looking at the wooden structure in front of her. I wouldn't want to be close to that stupid machine either. When she caught sight of the Supreme Epistates, Eva immediately got to her feet. Trying to avoid people, she walked around the crowd and quickly reached Aemon. Oh, you are disgusting me! I'm so sorry. Epistates, do you have a minute? Eva. He nodded curtly and took her aside. Following Aemon, Eva stared at his broad back. They didn't even have to push through the crowd. People quickly stepped aside, obediently making way for the Supreme Epistates. The man turned to her, waiting for her to speak. I wanted to ask for a favor. A favor? Dia, she was not only my roommate, but also my friend. I know I have no right to even speak about it, but she must have suffered a lot during the night. Can she at least get a quick and painless death? The Epistates gave her a displeased look. Eva got flustered and thought, I have to get into this man's dream. Seth wants me dead. He's just bored, and he's waiting for me to get caught, I'm sure. I know she's a dark magician, and I shouldn't feel sorry for her, but I've been friends with her since I started my education at the Temple of Thoth.
The method of execution has already been decided.
His tone made it clear that the conversation was over. Let me beg, please. Amen, please. Eva looked up at him, not knowing what else to say. Uh-huh. Are you feeling something there? Eamon looked at her, a shadow of doubt creeping inside him. It felt as if they were having a silent conversation. It's because he actually has feelings for her. So it's like him fighting his feelings for her over the thoughts that he has been having ever since he was young. Like I said, the hatred for Sheshmu has been inside this man ever since he was little. It's like his whole being. He can't change that. So as soon as someone says Sheshmu, he immediately is like torture, execution publicly, and you sure as hell make them feel everything because that's the only thing they deserve. Remao is the one that actually should be doing this for being like this. So it's actually a normal thing for him to immediately be like that hate-filled when it comes to Sheshmu. So someone actually daring to ask him to change something about that strategy, about making that death painless, is actually making him mad because he's like, they don't deserve anything else because, like I said, that thought has been implanted on this man ever since he was young. But he truly has feelings for Eva. So seeing her plea, it's like him saying, am I giving in to her and to my heart, or am I gonna continue with my duties as the Epistates? He turned away and shook his head.
No, Eva, that's impossible. She will die the way I have planned for her.
You know how to ask. Eamon would do anything you want, except for making concessions to Dia. It didn't work. Eva thought she would be upset. Instead, she was filled with rage. Have it your way, Epistates. Clearly your hands are craving blood. How ironic it is that hunters accuse Sheshmu of being driven by a bloodlust. Are both sides the same people, just wearing different masks? Honestly, you let him know.
And here I was wondering, where did my Eva go? Who was that obedient Neferid?
My?
One more word and you'll join her.
I won't. It was at those moments that Eamon doubted himself. Would a Sheshmu behave so recklessly? Yeah. Yes, I would. You know, this is the reason why I love Eva. She's like, I don't stand for injustice. She does not deserve any of this bullshit, no matter what her nature is. You be acting all like this just because she's a Sheshmu? Well, who do you think you are that you have the right to torture her and make her die a slow, painful death just because you are the Epistates? Like, who are you? You're actually giving Sheshmu the reason why they want to torture people like you. I'm sorry, like, this is the way it is. Like, I go same with same. You torture people like me, I torture people like you. Because, like, you will not stop. On the other hand, maybe dark thoughts still consumed her mind after her friend's death. Eva had mentioned more than once that she would have been glad to follow him. The Epistates took a deep breath. Sometimes the thought of sending her to meet him with his own hands flashed through his mind. I didn't do anything wrong for you to have me join her. Eamon took a step closer, his voice menacing.
But you are doing something wrong right now.
Shaking his head, Eamon grinned, leaning slightly toward her, but not close enough to touch her at all. He whispered,
I haven't done anything yet, and you're already agitated. That's why I warned you. Are you ready to be mine?
Maybe I'm not.
Think well, Eva. Today would be a great opportunity for that.
She turned around, clearly irritated, and left Eamon to go back to the shadows. He walked away too. You had a nice talk, right? Livius. Watching them from the side, Livius noticed something strange. Eamon didn't look at Eva the same way he looked at everyone else, and he seemed to behave differently as well. After a while, Livius joined Eva. He came up behind her, putting his hands on her shoulders, making her jump. Don't scare me like that! I haven't been myself since Sed's visit. Girl, I wouldn't be too. I would be scared out of my mind. I don't know if I will ever be myself again. I would be traumatized till I would know that this bitch is dead.
I'm sorry, my dear. You must have a lot on your mind.
Yes, I've had a terrible day. They were sitting in the shade together, whispering quietly to each other. Should I share with Livius what Ramesses told me? My mentor is out to get me. He's up to something. Honestly, I think he's the closest ally we have right now. Tell Livius about Remao. She decided not to hide anything from him. I have no problem.
Fortune truly favors the bold. Could you please wait until you've solved the old problems before finding new ones?
I found out that my mentor is planning to set me up, and then the hunters will deal with me just like they're about to deal with my friend any minute now.
What are you saying?
It's the hard life of a Shishmu.
But Remao is your mentor. He taught you and raised you, didn't he?
It doesn't work like that. I'm not even sure he liked teaching us. At times it seemed as if he were doing it against his will. Livius pursed his lips in disappointment.
I say, do you have any details?
No.
We'll figure something out.
Livius knows about Remao's plan. This will affect the plot. Period. He better be our knight in shining armor.
You don't have to watch the execution, you know.
I know, but I want to see this cruelty with my own eyes. It's like engraving what Eamon is really capable of. I want to hate them. Then I won't hesitate when the time comes when I'll have to defend myself.
You can't do that, Eva. You're a kind person, trying to be evil.
I'm not kind. You are. That.
Whatever you say.
Livius put his arm around her waist so that Eva would sit closer to him. He began caressing her slender back.
I really don't like what's going on. You're too deep in this.
There's nothing you can do about it.
You're wrong. I bought you something.
For me?
For us.
Huh? He pulled out a silk handkerchief from his pocket and inside. Oh, I love Livius. There were 2 gold pendants in front of Eva. One was shaped as the moon and the other as the sun. The polished gold shone beautifully and glittered in the sun. If you put the 2 pendants together, they formed a single whole. Livius wants to give you this gift as a token of your closeness. Stop!
Do you like it?
It's so beautiful.
I'm the sun and you're the moon.
Oh!
The priest in the temple of Amun-Ra is very kind to me, so I asked him to make amulets out of these pendants.
Amulets?
An object that will protect you from evil. Trust me, Eva, you're going to need it.
Accept it. Accepted. Accepted. Eva smiled broadly and started laughing. Will he help me put it on?
All right, but only if you will help me afterward.
Eva turned her back to him. The man lifted her hair and clasped the pendant around her neck. She then did the same to Livius. Oh, look at this.
Did it cheer you up a little, my dear moon-faced beauty?
Oh, Livius. Now you have an amulet gifted to you by Livius. I can't, y'all. This is so cute. I love Livius. Literally, this man is making this story right now. In my eyes, he's literally cheering me up from all the horrible things I have to witness. Eva just smiled at him and then put her head on his shoulder. She said thoughtfully, he is the one she needs right now because Ramesses literally needs to be careful. Because if he doesn't, Remao will have the feeling that Ramesses is telling us about what this bitch is up to and he's gonna take it out on Ramesses. So he's like, I need to stay away from you. And the second I know more from my brother's intentions, you will have to be ready. You know, you really are my son. He really is.
Is it because you find me blindingly handsome?
Yes. After Eastman's death, there was no sun in my life. Everything had lost its color, its meaning. That's a beautiful necklace, y'all. But when you're around, I feel better. Even the disc in the sky seems to shine brighter. Literally, to be quite honest, I feel like her right now. Livius is very glad that you like the pendant. He shows it, anticipating your reaction. Aww. To be quite honest, I actually feel the same way as Eva right now. We are getting in more danger after actually being confronted with reality that the guy we love is actually willing to execute us the second he has any evidence that we are a Shejmu as well. The best friend that we've had is about to be executed, and the other best friend we had has to act like a dog with a tail between its legs in order to protect himself and us, because if he acts like he doesn't care about us, his brother may feel tempted to tell him more about something, even if it's not gonna be something clear, because like I said, he doesn't trust anyone but himself because he is a bitch. And Ramesses, knowing Remao, will be capable to come to conclusions that will help him protect us. And for that, right now, he needs to give up on his humanity, on his happiness, in order to could be capable to protect us. The only person that is actually making us happy right now, that is willing to stay and stick by us the entire time, is Livius. He literally is just there for us. He knows what's going on. And he's like, let me be there for you. Let me sit down. I saw this. I asked him to make this pendant. I thought that it would actually match you. So I got that for you. I love him. Livius took her hand and kissed her fingers tenderly.
So I'm doing all right.
You are great, Livius. Yes, you're doing a great job. Livius didn't let go of her hand and intertwined their fingers. He knew that Eva was not going to turn away and was going to watch the execution. He also knew that she was going to need to be with someone close to her as that happened. It wasn't long before the execution started. Livius tried to distract Eva with conversations and jokes. This man is a blessing. If something happens to Livius, I'm gonna let everyone's head roll, and I will not feel any mercy for no one. I'm literally willing to also end Eamon's head, y'all. I chose Eamon, y'all. If actually Eamon touches Livius, I'm willing to let Eamon's head roll. Like, Livius is my child. He is my favorite character in this story right now. Him and Eva, of course. If someone hurts Livius, I swear to God. Right now, the people that scare me the most is Eamon and Ash. Or Eamon and Seth. But she just stared blankly at the scaffold, imagining herself standing there. Oh God. Oh God, as soon as the sun began to set, things started happening. People have flocked them all over the city in anticipation of that spectacle. You disgust me. They surrounded the wooden structure, waiting for the dark magician to appear. Finally, the hunters led Dia out. They were dragging her by the arms, but she didn't seem to care. Her head was lowered by her gaze. Her head was lowered, her gaze to the ground. Me. Oh God, are we gonna see a picture? Please don't. Oh! Yo, sensitive description. The man attached her to some kind of mechanism and hung her by her hands. The crowd grew animated and people started murmuring. Eva craned her neck, trying to see her friend. Dia looked dreadful, dirty, battered, covered in blood. Eva's eyes widened in fear. Dia raised her head, glancing at the crowd. She looked indifferent. She didn't seem to be looking for anyone or anything. She didn't seem to be looking for anyone or trying to do anything. She was just waiting for death. But when she noticed Eva, her expression turned to one of surprise and fear. Eva jumped to her feet, staring at Dia wide-eyed. You? Was it you? Tell me! Dia closed her eyes and nodded. She had confirmed it, but then stopped moving. How did you do it?
Eva, what's the matter?
She silently sat back down. Dia had shouted something about the episodes in her dream. Did he know something or did he know everything? Dia probably had some information, as she could have heard all sorts of things in the torture chamber. The noise of the crowd distracted Eva, preventing her from focusing on her thoughts. Eamon slowly ascended the scaffold. People started clapping their hands and cheering. Apparently, the street was filled with those who supported the hunt. Those who didn't had chosen to remain at home. A moment later, Ramesses joined them and sat down next to Eva. He didn't get along with Livius. Most likely the healer felt the coldness of dark magic emanating from him. Livius was a healer and he saved lives, but Ramesses was a necromancer and walked on the side of death. They were just too different. Aren't I as well a necromancer? Standing on the scaffold, Eamon scanned the crowd, looking for Eva almost out of habit. She also looked at him, no longer fighting herself on that. He was watching her, waiting for her to make a mistake and fall into his hands. He was slowly cornering her. What? The execution began. Oh, y'all, I don't know what to do with this. Oh my god, y'all. Oh my god. Oh wow. Excuse me? Y'all, this is too much information. Y'all, you do not want to know my facial expression right now. What the hell, first off. Second off, Eamon's animation made him look 10 times more attractive. Like, that was a good one. That was a good one. And Dia looked gorgeous as well. Now, the tear. Y'all know how I feel about the tears. She knew it was coming and she still didn't want it to come, y'all. I cannot. And the fact that Eamon actually had the courage to scan the crowd for us, just like, that was him just being like, oh, this can be you. Crimson blood spurted onto the scaffold. Dia shuddered. Instinctively, she wanted to clutch at her throat, but her hands were tied. She began to twitch and wheeze. It was a truly heartbreaking, terrible sight. Many in the crowd couldn't bear to look and closed their eyes. Eamon knew what he was doing. The incisive was too small for Dia to die immediately, but too large for her to survive. The supreme apostates mercilessly left her hanging there like a slab of meat, wheezing and trembling, and the crowd listened to every sound with bated breath. That was what a hunters called a Sheshmu's last song. Path of honesty. Eva could not restrain herself and buried her face in Livia's shoulder, crying in sorrow and fear. He knew something like that could happen, so he readily pulled her closer to comfort her and calm her down. Eva thought that the execution would only help her become angrier and stronger, but instead it only devastated her. Yes, because you care. That's the problem. You care. Like, it depends on how horrible a pain is. You can actually feel hatred, but that is only when you experience a trauma that horribly that you actually have to go through the 5 stages of grief. And the second stage is anger, okay? Then comes the sadness. She cared about Dia, and actually knowing that this can happen to you since you were born is actually something that they had to get used to. So they knew that something like that happened, but actually experiencing it, seeing it, makes the reality sink in even more. This can be you. Livius was right. She wasn't good at being evil. Livius. She turned cautiously toward the scaffold. Dark splatters of blood, Dia's wheezing, and the roar of the crowd. That's why he asked me to wait. He wanted me to see this, to see him give death with his own 2 hands. I knew that he did, but knowing it and seeing it with my own eyes are 2 different things. I literally said that last episode, y'all. I said that last episode, y'all. It's different to know, okay? But knowing about something, it's like easy for you to ignore it, okay? Like, you know something, it's like you hearing a rumor. You hear it, you imagine something of that, but then you immediately forget it as soon as something more interesting comes up. But if you keep on being confronted with something, you can't ignore it. Hearing that he's merciless with Sheshmus and actually seeing what he truly does to them that makes people describe him as merciless is something completely different. She saw now what Eamon is capable of when it comes to Sheshmoos. Eamon watched her reaction from a distance. Are you happy, Eamon? Eva couldn't stay in Tebas for another minute. We're leaving the first chance we get, bitch. You lost me. Once they arrived back at the settlement, Eva headed straight toward her house, not wanting to talk to anyone. She could only think about one thing. Dia somehow got into my dream and tried to tell me that the Epistates know something. She probably meant Ramesses, or was she talking about me? Titian mentioned his instinct, if that really exists. We are all already doomed. You have some theories about the Epistate's advantage. You need to find more clues. Eva wasn't alone for long. Suddenly she felt someone grabbing her. Oh, you bitch! Let me kick you. Let me spit into your face. If he's actually here just to gloat, y'all, I swear to God.
Are you impressed?
Huh? The mentor immediately released her. He didn't mean to startle her. He seemed his usual self, but even that seemed ominous to her. Let me spit in your face. I can't help but picture him cutting off the priest's fingers. Me! That's exactly what you need to do.
Are you alright?
How can I be alright after the execution? Titian, who was taking the horses to the stable, noticed Eva and her mentor talking.
Come to my place after sunset. Take all the papier in your house. If they catch you, tell them I asked you to bring them.
Fine. When the mentor left, she breathed a sigh of relief and rushed home faster than before. His house at night? Why? He wants you to be caught, bitch. I sure as hell wouldn't be doing it. She could only hope that Ramesses hadn't lied to her. He hadn't warned her, which meant that Remao wasn't planning anything yet. I wouldn't do it either way. Eva entered the house and froze. Someone else's belongings were scattered everywhere. The air was hazy and smelled strange. What on earth? Agnia!
Kitty?
Agnia? That was my reaction. What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Agnia is pleased to see your reaction. Honestly, that was my reaction, though. She stood there half naked, a towel flung around her shoulders, holding a smoking pipe in her hand. Eva noticed a jug of Hecate on the table next to some cups.
I just freshened up after moving, so is this your house?
Moving?
The Epistates assigned me here. He said the disease is spreading, so I'd be safer living in the settlement.
Eamon has given me a new roommate. Can't you get sick when you go to the city?
I won't be going there anytime soon, unless it's absolutely necessary.
Agnia took a deep drag and then exhaled some strange fragrant smoke. Must be some relaxing herbs. Some boys I knew used to smoke them all the time when I was younger. But that's not their only effect. She noticed something on Agnia's hip. Are those Greek letters? I can't believe it. Are we going to live together now?
I promise I'm not very nosy, but I don't always keep things tidy.
The main thing is that you don't make a mess on my side of the house. By the way, what are you smoking? Could you at least do that by the window? Agnia drained her cup in one gulp and then glanced at Eva appraisingly.
What's wrong with you? You look sad.
I just came back from the public execution.
Oh, I still remember their first one I attended. It was disgusting. The crowd, the noise, the screams.
You think so too? Eva was glad that there was someone else who didn't feel like clasping enthusiastically at the sight of blood.
Of course, people should be killed quietly. I think you need to relax a little. Do you want to smoke with me?
I don't smoke.
You don't have to smoke then. Just lie down, have a cup of beer with me and rest. You should see your face, Eva. Would you lie down, Kitty?
I think I'll pass this time. To be quite honest, I could have talked to her, but I feel like after the execution we just witnessed, I think we just want to be alone to actually be capable to accept what has happened. Right now, I don't think that if we would be like talking to her, we would feel any better. I think we would try to give it our all to pretend that we're okay, and sooner or later she would realize that we are just not there with our minds, and she would be like, you know what, let's end it today. So, to be honest, I just want to lie down and do nothing.
Do you think that will help?
I don't know. I don't care anymore. Eva walked to her bed and collapsed onto it silently. Agnia didn't bother her, as she guessed how Eva must have been feeling. Although she could hardly imagine it, no one could. After a while, Eva dozed off. Oh, God. It was already dark outside when Eva opened her eyes, feeling slightly sluggish and disoriented. Hi. Huh? What time is it? The sun has just set. Isfet, I'm late for a meeting with my mentor. Agnia looked up from her work. She'd been sitting at the table grinding precious stones. Is your mentor expecting you at this hour? Why would the man call a woman to visit him so late? This is not the kind of meeting between a man and a woman. This is a mentor meeting with his student. Ah, so that's what you call it in Egypt. Do you want to come with me? You'll help me get the highest grade. Agnia burst out laughing. I'm afraid you'll get a terrible one, unless your mentor likes pain. Oh, he does. He likes to inflict it on others, that is. Period. So it's only justified. You don't look particularly happy about going there. Is something wrong? I'm just a little anxious. Eva tried to freshen herself up after her nap and smooth down her hair. You should take something sharp with you. Eva raised an eyebrow, but Agnia just shrugged her shoulders. I don't have anything like that. But I do. Agnia got up to rummage through her things and then handed Eva a small blade. Ooh. So small? It's good for a woman. Easy to hide and carry around. You like wearing revealing clothes, so this is just what you need. You know what? I'd better take it. Eva nodded, taking the weapon and hiding it under her clothes. It'll make me feel safer. That's right, safety first. Is he treating you badly, your mentor? No, but I'm just scared of him. Well, I'm sure that little sharp beauty will give you confidence. Thank you, Agnia. It definitely will. Thanks to Agnia, you now have a weapon. Your friendship has improved. This will affect the plot. Okay. What if you get stopped by the hunters? It's getting pretty late. He asked me to bring him these documents. I'll tell them if they ask me. She picked up the papyri from her desk and left. Eva had only just approached Remo's house when she heard his voice. Come in, it's open. Was he listening for my arrival? She heard a rustle behind her and turned around frightened. Her head was spinning. Was she going to keep seeing the red-eyed set everywhere now? She hastened her pace. Eva walked inside. Her stomach turned at the thought that she was alone with that man. Remo smiled slightly. Hello. I'm here like you asked. Eva changed the subject so that he wouldn't notice how nervous she was. Mentor, do you think a Sheshmu can get into someone's dream without the warmth of the ka from a distance? If that's true, I could get into the episode's dream without getting killed on the spot. Remo arched an eyebrow but realized right away that Eva was asking for a reason. No. Arata, only very few Sheshmu can do that, and it requires too many conditions. It's easier to see your client in person. But Dia could do that, right? The mentor nodded in understanding, smiling. Yes, and you can learn that from just anyone. Ha. So you can do it too? No, Salmon could, but there are very few people like him. Salmon? Forget it, you don't know him. His tone was unpleasant, just like everything else in that house. Come in. No, thank you. I'm just gonna leave your shit there and leave. She was in her mentor's house late at night. What was going to happen if she got caught? Was the episode already sleeping or still working? Could he catch her in the street as he usually did? Meanwhile, Eamon... The premium choice will affect the plot and the romantic relationship with Eamon, so I need to... Shock me. What are you dreaming about? Ooh! I needed his picture, y'all. This is his root. Beads of sweat glistened on her skin. Her thin fingers clawed at the sheets. She laughed shamelessly. She was so soft, so flexible. He easily spread her legs wide. She desperately wanted more and couldn't keep quiet. Okay, so he's having a wet dream. Well, you should have said so. He could see that. The more she turned into clay in his hands, the less he was able to think straight. He thought only of her. Oh no, that hair! That's beautiful hair. Leave your scrolls epistates. Don't you think I'm more interesting? He wanted to take her by the throat, whisper in her ear about what he would do to her and how. He was so turned on by that rebellious smile she was trying to hide from him and by her mischievous eyes framed by dark hair. I'm going to be yours? Right. Right, Aemon, because I'm actually gonna be telling you that you're gonna have to work for it. And especially after the bullshit you pulled, yeah, forget it.
You won't regret it, Eva.
Her words made him lose the last shreds of his self-control. Aemon pinned her into his bed. Oh, invisible God, he had been waiting so long for her to be there. He dug his fingers into her rounded hips and entered her with a hard, deep thrust. Eva gave a low moan, unable to hold back. Her cheeks were flushed, her lips swollen. He couldn't stop himself from kissing her hard. As he squeezed her breast, she was begging him not to stop, to touch her harder. Oh, how long awaited that kiss was. Y'all, I cannot enjoy it as I did when I was doing the scene with Malbonte, to be quite honest. Because after what he just did, I can only feel hatred and disgust. I'm so sorry. After seeing that, I can't really feel it. Because I was actually hoping that he would stop himself, stop himself from killing Dia, but no. Like, torturing her to get the answers he was seeking, I assumed that he was gonna do that. Like, that wasn't surprising for me. But actually killing her without any mercy, like actually making her suffer while she was dying and he was enjoying it, wow. It left a peach aftertaste. Aemon pulled away, opening his eyes, and his heart sank. Be in love with your worst enemy, you whore! What's the matter, Supreme Apostates? What's wrong? Don't stop. Do you want to make me yours? Have I driven you crazy yet? The flame is burning and you're trying to catch the smoke with your bare hands. She laughed loudly, almost as if she were mocking him. I'm mocking him from a distance. After all the bullshit he pulled, I'm willing to do everything to make this man lose control. As in lose control in he's not as focused as he used to. He keeps on being more absent-minded. That's gonna make him become unresponsible and unreasonable in his followers' eyes. Then she slowly took off her black cloak, exposing the soft body that Aemon knew so well. He looked at it shamelessly every time he caught sight of Eva. Of course, he's always scanning her. Aemon had imagined her beneath him so often that he could never confuse her with anyone else. Sir. Yeah, you fucked up, sir. Like, after what you just did this afternoon, forget me. He would recognize her wearing any cloak under any mask. The Sheshmu he was desperately looking for, the Sheshmu he desperately wanted. The apostate's eyes snapped open, he stared into the darkness. The damn cotton sheets stuck to his skin unpleasantly. He was breathing heavily as if he'd been running somewhere for a long time. Running after the one he couldn't catch.
Isfed, what's wrong with me?
Oh, this is a scene I'm enjoying. Yes. That's what you ugly ass gets. Be completely mesmerized by me. That you can't do anything but imagine me with you. And keep in mind that I'm the thing that you hate the most. Now, it's a mixture between hate and love. Now, you choose which one is better for you. I don't know if you guys already know that, but normally people always choose love over hate. Just saying. Aemon sat on the edge of the bed, running his fingers through his white damn hair. He was trying to gather his thoughts, but they felt muggled, tangled. It was all her fault.
Damn Sheshmu.
But was it really about the Sheshmu? At first he saw a completely different woman. Was it a different woman? Ranu, she was the most desirable of all. Thank you, I know. Aemon can't get your conversation in his office out of his head. He's waiting for you, even though he knows you're afraid of him. No, I'm not afraid of him. I'm disgusted by him, y'all. Said in my eyes is the most dangerous one. He actually has a way to make you feel so intimidated and scared. You guys are trying to make me believe that I should be scared of this man because he hunts Sheshmu. No, I'm sorry. I'm not scared of him because he hunts Sheshmu, no. I'm actually disgusted that he was actually willing to go to extremes just to show that he's not willing to back down the second he finds a Sheshmu. That's what disgusted me. So right now, I'm not pleased with Aemon. His groin ached, of course. I mean, after you get a hard-on because of how gorgeous and insanely talented I am, of course you will. Like, I can do a lot of things, not just with my hands, with my mouth. My tongue can also do a lot of good things. Y'all, I know you've been missing these commentaries. The fabric of his pants was strained. He wanted to move his hand lower and relieve the tension. Well, I mean, sir, masturbate and then keep on remembering why you wanted to masturbate. Aemon sighed wearily. For the first time in his life, he didn't know what to do. It was his fault that a minor infatuation had turned into an obsession. The episodes got up. He didn't want to wait any longer. He couldn't wait any longer. He needed her, right? At the same time, he could take that chance to check whether Titian was right when he warned him that Eva and her mentor were whispering suspiciously earlier that day. Of course. The episodes intends to find you. Meanwhile, oh no! Remao sat down slowly in front of Eva. He stared intently at her, the color of his eyes widened by the shadows under them. You are at your mentor's house at night.
Sit down, Avitus. I've been waiting for you.
Oh, hell no! This bitch actually said sit down. You are not getting out of here. Let me smack him. Y'all, this episode was insanely long. Like, I cannot. But there was so much beef in this one. I'm so scared. I'm petrified. What is gonna happen? I have the feeling that our attitude towards Aemon is gonna completely change after what we just saw. And I think he's gonna start feeling guilty. I don't think that he's gonna see us in our mentor's house, but maybe someone will say something and that's gonna make him become even more suspicious. But since he actually wants to have confirmation, he will not stop to follow her around, and sooner or later he's gonna see something that's gonna make him want to drag her out in the middle of the night, maybe. Anyway, ignore me. I am so shocked. Like I said, please tell me. I'm gonna put a voting tile on this after I publish this, after I upload this episode. Which one do you think is the most intimidating, as in the most dangerous one? Aemon or Set? I hope you enjoyed this episode with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.